Hello everyone, this is Ellie of Herbcraft by Ellie Apothecary, here for another Timeless Collective ASMR Tarot Quest. This is the long form version. If you like shorter form, meaning 40 minutes down to maybe 5 minutes, a few days after I publish this long form, I publish all the other messages into shorter videos. Check the community and you'll find the post for the long form, and you'll also find another post when I publish the shorter form after that one with all the links. Or you can just subscribe, which is awesome too if you do. Thank you to everyone who is here in the community, who is tuning in to this message. For those of you that want to skip the chit chat and introductions while I read into the message, look in the description box. There's a timestamp right away before the read description. Otherwise, for the rest of you, hello, how are you doing? I hope you all enjoyed the last tarot series. We had what, like 7 videos that came out of that one long form with 7 different messages for different groups in the collective. That was pretty cool. I always link the last reading or two in the description box. I also drop the Divine With Me playlist, which is the collective playlist. You can find all of the readings, long and short form, pretty much since, I'd say, January of 2025. And you can also find my channeled messages playlist there as well. That is like, it has some of the messages from the Divine With Me, but it also has channeled only messages, or light tarot mostly channeled messages. I'm a psychic medium empath, and I am an open and safe source for the divine to channel through. I'm also a professional astrologer, so if I talk on astrology, I hope you enjoy, first of all, and second of all, know that when I speak on astrology as far as the cards go, I'm reading the cards and the energies of the cards, the meaning. Same goes for any gender stereotypes. Masculine means active, feminine means receptive. And then of course there's neutral, which isn't talked about as much, but it's there. It's like that in-between liminal space of not really being active or receptive. So I read the cards as the gender they present as far as the traditional tarot, but you can apply it to yourself in any way, to other people in any way. You should also know that I try to keep it a higher octave here on this community and this channel, because we are a spiritual community that I am growing, and that means I don't tend to allow karmic energies into my readings. So if you're looking for that kind of style, you'll probably want to just skip this whole reading, and happy travels. I hope you find the readers that are right for you. For those of you that love to kick back, grab your favorite snack, tea, coffee, hot chocolate, fidget toy, whatever. Just relax. Let's get into it, yeah? So today the moon is in Gemini, but again, this being a timeless message, meaning that when you found it, you were meant to. So there's a message in here for you somewhere. Not every message will resonate with everyone, because there are multiple groups in the collective I tap into in each reading. As a spiritual guide, I am leading everyone through avenues of exploration here. And in case some of my current subscribers are so curious about my style, I happen to have a conjunct Venus and Mars in the 10th house in Aries. So yes, I am a bit of a master of the quest. I am very forward moving, and I like to guide and help others on their quests. As a slight disclaimer, which, speaking of, there's an official one also in the description box, I have a tendency of activating people on their spiritual journeys, and if you feel drawn to this message, it's possible that's something that could be in store for you. But I find that most people I'm working with already are on the journey or have completed the journey, or it's never a complete journey, but I mean, an awakening process is more what I meant. But those of us that have been around the block a few times already, thank you for holding space. If at any time you want to drop some inspirational comment below with your own guidance, if you yourself are a leader in your community, I would love to hear it. And I'm sure other people in the community would love that as well. You should know that I'm a non-denominational channel, which means every spiritual belief or non-belief is welcome here, but this is a spiritual flavor over here. So we're going to end up talking about deeper concepts. We're going to dive deep. I happen to have a Pisces sun sign and a Cancer rising. I talk about my personal astrology to help other people understand astrology. And yeah, I'm very authentic, and I hope that you will be the same. Take what resonates, let the rest alone. If it doesn't fit, don't force it. If it seems like it has to do with somebody else you know, it's possible it is. Trust your intuition. And everyone from different level of your journey is welcome here. If you feel like you want to share how this reading impacted you, I do request that everybody try to keep it a little more balanced over here. And remember, while we're all here for each other, there's a time and a place sometimes for unloading our stress. You know what I mean? I'm a huge proponent of mindfulness, meditation, and I'm also an advocate. I'm not a medical or mental health professional, so any observation I share here is simply for spiritual guidance, soul guidance. I share a little bit about my journey sometimes to help others see how I've gone through it, and I hope that whatever I do choose to share will help others, because that's why I'm here. I'm here to help and serve the collective. Alright, so I don't usually pull cards before the recording starts, but I had a false start recording. Mercury is retrograde at the time of this. Speaking of Gemini, Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. But I started to record and then I decided to restart, and while I was getting into the zone, I did pull 8 cards. Okay, and I'm doing an intuitive read, but I have multiple lines here. I have 3 lines. And as we were just talking on this recording, I pulled a 5th line. And I'll let you know, the energy is really quick today. I'm really feeling that Gemini Mercury energy. If I stumble over my words, or if I get weird accents, or if I combine words or create new words, that's usually spirit channeling through me. So just, have some grace, if you don't mind, for me, some patience, and for yourselves during this retrograde period. If you're interested in knowing more about the astro highlights and Luna notes for July and a little bit of August, I dropped a video under that title, plus it has a psychic oracle read at the end. And I also made a smaller video with just that oracle reading as well. I'll probably drop those in the description box too, so it's okay if you catch it near the end of the month. You can kind of look back at the astrology and be like, how did that apply to me? You can do that with readings too, just use it how it works for you, because timelines are constantly changing and going on at the same time. Time is not actually linear. The concept of time, the tracking of time in the 3D world is linear, but we get a little quantum over here. We get a little 5D, so buckle in. I'd like to ask that everybody take a deep breath so I can chime my bell 2 times, and then a second deep breath, and then we are going to dive into this reading. Ready? Deep breath in. Out. Bell. Deep breath in. And out. Thank you for being here, everyone. So we have about 15 cards that came out. Intuitive read. The moon is in Gemini. Mercury is retrograde, which rules Gemini and Virgo, by the way. And Gemini is an air sign, rules communication, local travel, moving parts, electronics, contracts, all kinds of things. And when the moon is in a sign, it's what colors the energy of the collective. And every time I do a reading, I set the intention that the energies of the collective with whatever moon sign we're in shows its positive influence, or we learn lessons through its energy in each reading. I tend to notice we pull more cards of that nature if it's meant to be tapped into that energy. If not, it's more of an assistive background energy. So it really doesn't matter when you get to this reading, the energy is going to be there. And if you're fascinated to see how that could personally affect you, you know, the emotions of the collective, whatever sign the moon is in, look at what part of your chart you have that sign in your chart. And that's going to show you how it will personally affect you. Or, of course, you can book a reading with me. I do astrology readings. Booking site and email are in the description box. I thank you if you do book with me. I'm thinking about having a fall special for my prices for both tarot, astrology, and psychic readings. I don't know, I'll announce something after the retrograde. Definitely check out my August Astro Highlights and Luna Notes for more when I publish that in the coming weeks. So thank you for being here. I'm working with the Cosmic Tarot, and let's go ahead. I'm going to read off every card to you throughout this reading. First 5 cards, left to right. And again, using the Cosmic Tarot, my usual collective deck. By the way, this is Ellie, in case I didn't tell you that. Ellie of Herbcraft by Ellie Apothecary. Alright, 5 cards top. 4 of Swords, Queen of Pentacles, King of Wands, Temperance, 7 of Cups. Second row below the 4 of Swords is the 8 of Pentacles. The Moon below the Queen of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles below the King of Wands. Prince of Swords below Temperance. The Empress below 7 of Cups. Next row, we have the Princess of Wands under the 8 of Pentacles. The 2 of Pentacles under the Moon. And the 2 of Cups under Ace of Pentacles. Along with the Ace of Swords under the Prince of Swords. And the 4 of Wands under the Empress. Whew, I just got chills. This is definitely looking like hopefully a higher vibrational read, which is typically where I aim to please. Beautiful. I'm just going to read into this real quick. All right. Let's see who this first group is that I am tapping into. What messages would you like to share, Spirit? If you like the music, check out my Divine With Me playlist on Spotify. My profile link is also in the description box. And the collective playlist is called The Same Thing for readings. That's also in the description box. While you wait, feel free to check that out. It's a lot of information to process. I will announce any synchronicities I see. Like 2-2, we've got the 2 of Pentacles and the 2 of Cups at the bottom, the foundation. I like that we have the Ace of Swords under the Prince of Swords under Temperance. That's really about like balancing truth, clarity, having balance because of some kind of clarity, which is really important during Mercury retrograde, because as some of you know, communication can get really misconstrued or jumbled. Things can get missed, or people can end up in conflict. But fortunately, again, this seems like a pretty higher vibrational energy. So first thing with the Four of Swords, I can say whoever this group is that I'm going to start with, hello, welcome. Four of Swords is all about resting after heartbreak, recovering. Sometimes it can mean recovering from health issues, though I'm not picking up on that so much. For me, it looks like some people have gone through something together, a group particular, some of you in this particular group, okay? So if it doesn't resonate, maybe the next message on this quest will be for you, okay? Thank you for your patience if it's not your part of the reading, right? If you're here, there's something here for you, okay? So have faith. Yeah, I feel like there's a group here, possibly some friends, for some of you it's old friends. For some reason I'm picking up a strong military influence here, a group of old military friends. This feels like reminiscing over the past hurts and wounds and experiences and battles, and that could be literal if you were a veteran. Thank you for your service, by the way. If not, it's just like it's a group of friends looking back at the past and how hard some things have been, but now you seem like you're resting. You're in this state of, you know, everything's going to be okay. Let's just take a deep breath and just enjoy the moment together. Just breathe. Just take things slow. So I see 4 people here, and they all have their 4 swords on a tapestry blanket. It looks like the sign of Jupiter here. Planet of expansion. Symbol on the cloth that's in front of them. So it's like they are expanding through communication. Mercury retrograde is great for reviewing old conversations in the past. Anything retro, anything is going to be important during these periods. And it is a time of rest, you know. It's a time for thinking of slowing it down and focusing on the finer details, which is the Mercury in Virgo aspect of Mercury. Virgo is Earth, but it's the one sign that pays the absolute closest attention to detail. It's like the background communication. There's some chatter here as well. Looking at the 4 different characters on this card, it looks like one person's smiling and looking off, kind of nostalgic. Like another one is kind of awkward also on the other side of it, and these 2 in the middle are more conversing casually. So it's like whatever this social group is, most of you feel like you can be yourself. There's like 2 primary figures, and it could be more or less than 4 people. It's just how many are in this card, right? Oh, and interesting, we have 4-4 here as another synchronicity. My 4-4 angel reading keeps coming up, so I feel like if you've been listening to my readings and I recommended the 4-4 angel read, definitely check it out if you haven't had a chance, or check out one of the shorter form versions of that. There's a message there for you. It's also interesting that we have 4 at the top left and 4 on the bottom right. Crisscross foundation. For some of you, you have traveled cross country to come together, which, you know, I've heard that summertime is a great time to have like cross country trips if you're in the States or wherever you are, going from one side of your continent to the other, to your country, to your state, to your city. It doesn't have to be, since we're in Mercury energy, it could be short distance travel, but I'm sensing this particular group, people had to come together. And it's interesting because in the heart of the read in the middle is the Ace of Pentacles. For some of you, this is about building something with this group of people. Something that's going to be very successful, because Ace of Pentacles is a big old gift from Spirit. It's usually financial or material. It can be a new start, a new beginning. It can be a windfall. It can be a huge investment that's looking very positive. I'll remind you again that this is not business, financial, or legal advice either. So anything I tell you, it's messages from Spirit and what I'm reading through the cards. You apply it how it fits. Again, there's a disclaimer in the description box. But from what these cards are showing is if you are a group of people coming together, you're planting a huge seed here for your futures. For some of you, this has to do with spiritual matters and a new quest. We do talk about the spiritual journey a lot here. We have the Princess of Wands at the bottom left. Some of you have been working on this for a long time. Perhaps you're one of the center people who I'm talking to now. One of the people who's in the middle of it, who really knows what's going on, who was the most involved. And then the other person was kind of like the leader, because we have the King of Wands at the middle and the top here. There's multiple big key players here involved in this. One person's confused though. One person's kind of on the outs, and I can see that with this Four of Swords card. And that's, again, anything I say, it's not to call anybody out. If Spirit feels like it's important, there's a reason I'm mentioning anything. I, as a reader, as a medium, as an oracle, as a seer, is not judging anybody, whatever comes out of my mouth. So please don't take it personally. And if you do get upset by anything I say, definitely do some shadow work and be mindful and figure out why that bothered you so much. Because when you can do that kind of work, you can transmute your emotions and energies and just have a much more balanced life. And we have Temperance up here on the right of the King of the Wands, and the Two of Pentacles down here underneath the Moon and the Queen of Pentacles. I feel like the Queen of Pentacles is the one that might be a little confused or unsure, or is a little worried about what you can't see as far as the work and the planning process. It does seem like there's a lot of anxiety here. And even though I don't see the Eight of Swords, which is the typical sign of being stuck in your head, having sleepless nights, etc., etc., it's like a self-imposed prison. But I'm picking up the energy of that here. That whoever this person is that's slightly kind of keeping to themselves, maybe they don't feel included in it in somehow, or they're unsure of what their bigger purpose is going to be. And again, I don't typically tap into other people's energies because they typically haven't consented to being read on. I try to keep it focused on you. So if anything comes up about other people, then that means that Spirit's already gotten permission from their guides to my guides to read on them, because I get pulled to speak on them, and I use my discernment on what I discuss. But if other people are being spoken about, it's because it directly affects you. So think about how these other people are in relation to you. Or is it perhaps another aspect of you that you weren't aware of? We do go into the deep, the subconscious here, and we have the Moon card here. For some of you, this could be about the Queen of Pentacles, is this energy of you're stable, you have some comforts, you're really you're doing pretty well in life, but you're not quite at your peak. So maybe for some of you, this is kind of a risk, or you've got a lot on your plate and you don't want to have to juggle more stuff. With the Two of Pentacles down here, again with the Temperance and the Two of Pentacles, we have an emphasis on balance. We also have the Empress over here on the second row next to the Prince of Swords. It feels like somebody is reporting back to an Empress. They're watching. It seems like there is another figure here that's outside of this group who's in some great authority, in a position of power, who's overseeing through this person